So hello, everyone. Welcome to Coffee Chat with Cameal, and I am your host, Cameal. I'm really grateful for those of us that could join today. I know we're all so very busy. Hi, Gonzalo. How are you? Welcome. I am so happy to see you and everyone that's here today. So, just to dive in a little bit, the reason why I created this event is to build community. As consultants, at times it can be really lonely and challenging. Some of us are independent, some of us are working for a firm, some of us might even be working for a company. And I know, it's good to have that community where we can come together, empower each other, collaborate, bounce ideas off of each other. Community is always an amazing thing in this world of change management. Um, the what we will be doing and how we're going to be doing this is, some of you guys have been with me from the beginning when I start trying to start this coffee chat. I was using LinkedIn audio. It was not the best success. So I'm like, let's do some videos. Let's see how this go. What I will do is I want to do this weekly, the same time every week on Wednesdays for 30 minutes. I will have a topic in mind. This week I put out the topic of onboarding on a project, and I will ask for some questions for anyone that's going to participate. And based on what you guys send me, we can pull topic from that. I am so grateful for everyone that participates. I got some really great questions. And one that I want to focus on today is how do we align our project management plan to our change management plan. How I would like this to be is collaborative in nature. As I am learning from you, you are learning from me, and we kind of bounce ideas off of each other again. So please, participate. This is not a Cameal show. This is for all of us to come together and talk and really, build our network. So, I don't know if you guys have any questions or any pointers or anything that you like to say. I'll pause right now.
Well, I have a question, and that's why so many projects fail, where, the strategy seems to be great. The, it seems to be, the intentions are there and they're good, but then the project fails. And I'm just wondering why that happens so often, and why it is that the level of disengagement is so high. That's been my experience in the consulting work that I've done. And that's what I have constantly tried to resolve right at the beginning of the project, is to gain that trust. But I don't know whether that's other people's experience. I would love to hear from everyone.
Anyone would like to address what Nina just said? Hi, Yvonne. Thanks for joining. I know you're very busy, so thank you for lending me your time.
Cameal.
Hi. So Nina was saying that, it seemed to be in a lot of projects, which I think is true for most of us, there is at times like low engagement. One of my projects that was really successful, Nina, and what I think that made the difference early on, and like you said, you have already done this, is the relationship building. But I don't know if you're like me, but I work from home. I don't necessarily go into the office to meet the clients. And at times, we're working on projects like we're not really necessarily a part of the organization. We might come in the middle of the project. We might come in sometimes right when they realize that, oh, we need change management. And if we're lucky, we are there from the beginning. Project that was really quite difficult for me was one that they brought us in as consultants, as OCM consultants, almost at the end. But going back to our questions for today, like how can we incorporate those project management plan and change management plan, was what really worked was my project manager and I were in sync. Early on in the project, I had the opportunity to travel. I think that made a big difference. I traveled to the client side, and my project manager and I, we spent like all night, like just, going over everything for the workshop. So we worked in sync when it came to this. So within the workshop, I did the workshop very collaboratively. It was a very collaborative environment. I didn't know if it was going to work. I brought sticky notes and flip charts. I was like, I wonder if these people are going to think this is, I'm wasting their time. But we actually got a lot of engagement. And for example, when we were like segmenting stakeholders and as we were listing them out, my project manager, he was on the Miro. I don't know if you guys know that software called Miro. And it's kind of a collaborative software that we can get a lot more engagement. So he was on that software with individuals that was virtual. So they kind of felt a part of it. Another thing that I did was, I scheduled breaks in between the workshop, because I understand that as humans, sometimes we do not want to say, oh, I don't understand this, I don't get it. So during my scheduled break, I would work the room. I'd walk over and ask different individuals, hey, what do you think about this change? And surprisingly, one of the most impacted group, this lady, she was the manager, say customer service, she didn't even know about the change until that day. And this was like 3-4 months, right before go live. So it was important to hear that. And I was like, it's okay, girl, we're going to be best friends. I got you. We're going to ensure that your people are okay. After we did that and we kind of set the tone, they know who I was, the reason why I was there. We continually meet weekly. And in my position, a lot of times I am the only OCM on a project. So we have to be very skilled at being facilitators, not necessarily we are doing everything. We have to be very skilled at kind of pulling in those leaders and people from our change network and empower them and enable them to kind of have a part of this change. So we meet weekly and we do something slightly like a racy, like what roles, who's responsible for what action needs to be taken. And that's kind of how I kind of put back some of the responsibility. So on this team, we'll have people like communication. There might be someone from HR, different business units, so we can have everyone's voice a part of this. So, after that, my project manager and I, we'll talk almost daily. The project became somewhat of a dance. And it was amazing it was such a good deliverable to the point where we end up winning, the team win an award for that deliverable. So from that experience, I took it and I implemented in all my projects going forward. So one thing that I've learned, like project managers, technical teams, and developers, they're very technical. A lot of times they don't even see, why do we need OCM? So early on, what I do is I do team building and coaching of the project team as well. So I would have meetings with them and help them to understand their role when it comes to us enabling the project to full fission, or whatever. But one thing that I keep that keeps us grounded is within those workshops with my project team or technical team, we come up with a vision for the project, like a goal for that project, and we use that vision as our anchor. So early on, by not only working with our stakeholders or our clients, by even working with our project team and empowering them and kind of educating them on how change management is done, I realized that I had greater success in aligning all those goals. So yeah, I'm curious to hear anyone else thoughts when it comes to, onboarding or starting out on a project.
I would say you touched on a lot of important aspect, especially on the PM side. Because I've seen where projects fail, which our projects fail because lack of stakeholder engagement. And I can see where the OCM would be able to step in and keep everybody engaged. And I've also had projects that complete that's completed on my end. Everything was delivered perfect, and they never use it because of the failure to adapt. And that's where I can see where a OCM and a PM can work side by side to get to the point. But you did make some good points, which next project I'm working on, I think I'll bring that to the table. So thank you for that.
You're welcome. Chris, you want to tell them a little bit about what you do and who you are?
So as you heard before, I'm her husband. So I'm a military veteran. Currently, I'm a project manager with JP Morgan. Also, I just started my own government contracting. That's getting ready. I'm just waiting for my certificate from the SBA, and I have a go live day for the first of next month. And also, I have a book coming out pretty soon, which covers mainly on the military side about PTSD and families, and their families and how it affect the families. What else? Yeah, I think that's about it. And I'm just here to support. I'm just here
Thank
to show you a lot of support.
you. Thank you. Hi, Yvonne. Thanks for coming on camera.
Hi, how are
Please
you?
introduce. I'm good. Please tell us about you, what you do, your beautiful smile.
So, yeah, just to jump in, I mean, I'm actually juggling between a lot of things. I'm actually in a meeting, but I just told my team, I'll be right back. I need a cup of tea. Because I wanted to come in and just say hi and just to let you know that we support you. Yeah, my name is Yvonne Baloyi. I am I actually wear a lot of hats. So I am a OCM change manager. But before that, I was a functional consultant. So I did a lot of SAP implementations, starting with municipality back in South Africa. Now I just recently moved to the US. Actually, not recently, because it's been almost 6 years. But I'm South African, and yeah, I've worked on different implementations. So I started off as a configurer, and then I became a tester. I did a lot of SAP testing. And then after that, I decided to venture into training, which I really enjoyed mostly because I like to talk to people. I like to share the knowledge. So that's basically what I decided to hang on to. And just by doing training, that kind of like led me, into change management because it's part of it. It's a huge part of it. So that's basically what I do. I love sharing the knowledge with people. And just to learn from other people like yourself, Cameal. And I was just listening to a gentleman, was it Chris that was talking a few seconds ago? Yeah,
Chris.
that change management does play a huge role on any type of project. And when I found out about what you just said recently, because I think you did mention that you used to become you were basically an OCM person by yourself. I'm not
By
used to
myself.
that. It's crazy, right? So only you made me realize that it's doable because I didn't think that was possible. When I joined one of my projects and I found out that I was the only OCM team, I got so overwhelmed, right? Because I'm so used to having a team. I'm so used to having a person handling communications. I have a person that helps me with, other things that we handle within change management, like, initiating and involving stakeholders and stuff like that. So I just want to say that, yeah, I'm here to learn from you, and I'm happy to be here.
Thank you, Yvonne. And what Nina said, have you seen any, when it comes to like early on in the project and really aligning with the project managers and seeing like a lack of success, what do you think is from your experience, the number one reason why sometimes our projects are not as successful?
So this is going to be funny, right? Most of the projects that I've ever been on, they kind of like put change management on the back seat. And then they start realizing how important it is right towards, go live, because we have to involve stakeholders from day one. So most of the projects that I've been on that were never really successful or fully successful was because of that fact that they don't take change management seriously. And that is a huge risk. Yeah.
It's like a battle. I'm on a
Right.
project right now, and unfortunately, I'm not necessarily wearing the hat of a change manager. I'm doing a lot of like the process mapping, but it seems like, and when I'm talking to the client and I'm like, okay, I need to talk to end users, they're the one that's going to use the system. It's like it's so hard for them to understand that we can't just focus on the functionality of the
No.
system. It's people that are going to use the
People
system.
side.
And
Yes.
there's so many times project has failed because of that. But I encourage us all to push back a bit, because someone once told me, a mentor of mine, and this man is, he's so confident. I was like, how do you do this? Like, he walks in and tell these executives whatever is on his mind. He said that, you know what, I always let them know that I am on your side and I will always tell you the truth. It's best for us to push back and for them to say, okay, I don't think we need this, versus we didn't say anything, because they will always come back and they will say, you know what, you were right. And that's one of the reasons why we have to educate our stakeholders early on. We have to educate our technical team. We have to educate our project team, and we have to even educate the clients on the need for change. And we have to ask questions like, how much of this project success depend on human adoption, right? And when they say, well, pretty much all of it, ting, that's change management. That's where it comes in. Nina, yes, please. Some of us came in a little bit late. Tell us about yourself a little bit, and some of these challenges that you were just mentioning.
Yeah, so I have been doing organizational change for probably 23 years. And my specific focus in organizational change is really working with values and value systems. So I'm accredited with the National Value Center in Santa Barbara, your part of the world, Cameal. And even Yvonne, you're also in America, right? But you're from South
Yes,
Africa.
yes, I am.
Yeah,
Yes.
right. So I'm South African. I'm phoning in from Johannesburg.
Awesome.
But so I have been using a specific toolkit, looking at values and looking at how to bring about change using the toolkit that I have. So the projects that I've worked on has been with big corporates, and I've worked with leadership teams. And what you said, Yvonne, and also, Cameal, you said the importance of getting stakeholder buy-in is so crucial, that everyone is on the same page. And very important is to benchmark where one is at, so that one can track your progress, and you can sort of stop the bus if you have to, and check in with people. So what's happening and what is going on here? So I've just experienced that the way to overcome that, the fact that so many strategies fail, because when I get the brief from senior management to start my projects, I hear from them consistently, so many projects have failed and we don't understand why. Why is this happening? And my personal experience in the work that I've done is, the most important aspect is to get the trust of the people involved, because change is difficult. I think for all of us, we don't like change. We much prefer the comfort zone we have, even if it's not working for us very well. I'm guilty of it as well. So we're talking about change, and especially in the world today, where change is happening at such an alarming rate, and the coping mechanisms aren't always there for people to adjust to change. So often there is a lot of, when I talk about engagement or disengagement, there is often that people sort of go along with it and they say the right things, but they're not fully committed. not
Right.
really. And
Right.
and so a lot of my work in the initial project has always been to gain the trust of individuals, that they have the courage to step over that threshold and say, you know what, I'm going to trust this because my voice is being heard. I'm understood. This is me. This is my uniqueness. And this is what I can bring to the world of work and to make this project work. And if you've gotten over, my experience has been, when you get over that, then you get meaningful change. And
That's
so,
true.
yeah, that's really, you know, where I'm involved in, where I work with teams, because if you get a team that can start changing their behaviors and build character and show leadership, then everyone follows in the new way of doing and being and behaving, and then you get your
Right.
results.
Nina,
Yeah.
I'm curious, like, have the team, have they ever surveyed or interviewed stakeholders on past engagement as to why adoption wasn't met? Have they asked
Yes.
that question?
Yes. Yeah. And in it, you know, there's been a pattern, because in the work that I do and the value systems that I work with, a key aspect of that is understanding behavior patterns, the bigger contextual patterns. And the bigger contextual patterns would constantly say that the company has a set of values, and they talk about the values. They put it in their in the company brochures, they stick it on the wall, they say these are our values, but they do not walk the talk of their values. And then people in the teams and in the organization feel that the company is advocating that they behave in a certain way, but when the heat and pressure is there, and when it comes to resolving issues and problems, they're not heard.
Right.
And so that becomes, you know, a point where people lose trust, and they don't want to open up, and they simply do the necessary, but they're not involved, they're not
Wow.
committed, they're not giving their best, and the company loses literally millions.
Right.
Literally millions.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like, as a leader, you have to walk the talk, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And it's so, yeah, we are people. Like, of course, if we don't trust our leaders completely, we're going to be resistant to anything that they bring to the table.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
You know, I don't know if you guys know this, but I have a book coming out in the next like 3 weeks. It's called The Right Ear Mythology, the No BS practical step-by-step stamp of navigating organizational change. It's a very, I think it's a good book. It's not a I say Cameal say kind of book. It's based on over 20 different research that I put together in an easy digestible format. And you know, we're running out of time, but I want to leave you guys with a thought per se. And Nina, I want you to think about this for a minute. When it comes to, you know, dealing with leaders that doesn't walk the talk, and they are big on, okay, you know, do what I say, sometimes it takes a different approach, kind of like a sister, or you know how we are as women, as mothers and stuff like that, how we are able to kind of put things in a different perspective. Sometimes it takes us to have like a real one-on-one talk with that individual. And CEOs and executives, they're very dollar focused. So I would put it on a chart and be like, look, this is the amount of money that we're losing. These are the voices of your people, and this is what they're saying. You know, how about we approach it in kind of a different way of doing things? You know, and maybe at times, like, you know, some of us as OCM, we have to wear the hat of a executive coach. Sometimes we have to coach them into how this will look like and feel like. But if the issue is really with the leader, we have to be kind of in their face and kind of be real with them as to, okay, you want your company to succeed, you want your project to succeed. We need you to start walking the talk. Let's have some town hall meetings. Let's, when we send out these email, even I will put the email together, but let's put your tone on it. Let's put your name on it so they can see that you care. How about, if it's like factory workers or people that are on the ground, how about you go there once a week, walk around, talk to your people, see what's bothering them. Sometimes it doesn't take like a really, big toolkit or technicality or whatever, or methodology. Sometimes it's just human to human interaction. So I'll leave that with you. Remember that, we all are human, and we all need to, approach our projects and deal with it what we would want for adoption. And, again, I want to thank you guys for joining. We are out of time, but it was so much fun. And I hope to see you all next week. Same time, same place. Take care. One love. Bye, y'all. I see you again
Bye.
soon.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank
Thanks,
you very much.
Cameal.
Thank you,
All
everyone.
right,
Bye-bye.
bye.
Bye.